Okay, hello. Today we are working on exponential modeling and applying it to real life inflation. The first thing is kind of a quick reading passage. It's only about 2 or 3 paragraphs, but basically please go ahead and do the reading here, which you probably already have. And then there will be 5 multiple choice questions. Make sure you enter your answers in Canvas as part of the assignment. But if you're watching the video, that means you've probably already done that, hopefully. But if not, please do that first. The next part is actually getting and evaluating actual data on inflation. So that's what I'm going to go over now. I'm going to questions 6 through 11 will be the ones that I will go through and explain how to get them. And then 12 through, I think, 19 or 17, I guess, will be practice questions of the same exact type of question. So make sure you take good notes. And so I'm going to go through it. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about what inflation is. That you've already just kind of a recap. Inflation is a rate. It measures the rate at which prices go up. For example, let's just say that right now you're paying like $2,000 a month on an apartment, for example, and you want to try to guess how much am I going to have to pay in 10 years? Well, almost always each year prices gradually go up. That's why people get raises so they can afford to pay higher prices, etc. So in 10 years, you have to figure out how much percent would it increase each year, the $2,000. If it's 5%, well, whatever it is, it's probably going to be more in 10 years. Maybe it's 2,500, maybe it's $3,000. But keeping track of the inflation rate and looking at past inflation can help us figure out how to figure out what it's going to be in the future, or at least make an educated guess, which is what we do as modeling students. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where you can get data so that you can do this. The first question is asking, what was the consumer price index for all urban consumers in the Seattle metropolitan area in 2005? Now I want to explain a little bit what a price index is. So let me do a quick example. Here's the example. Let's just say, for example, the amount that somebody paid every month on the average in a particular year. Let's just say, in this case, let's say it's 1982, because that's literally what this index that I'm going to talk about in a moment is based upon. Let's say somebody was paying $3,000 every month. That's for everything: groceries, rent, gas for their car, vacations, anything that people would spend money on, that it would be $3,000. Well, what they do is they don't make that the starting number for the price index, consumer price index. They say, we're going to assume that $3,000 is 100% of the bills at a particular point in time. Okay, so they have to arbitrarily just pick amount. So here it was 1982. So now after that, let's just say it goes up by 10%. I know you can calculate it. Well, that would mean that the next year the actual bills would be $3,300, because 10% of 3,000 is $300, right? So let's say it goes up by 10%. Come on, pen. There we go. That would mean that to keep track of that, because everybody has different bills. One person can have $3,000 bills in 1982. Another could have 5,000. So what they do is they equalize it by saying, well, the price index for whatever your monthly bills are, whatever a cost of something is based upon everybody has the same starting basis. So if you increase the 100 by 10%, you get 110. That would mean the next year the price index would be 110. And then I would say, well, that would be the index to figure it out. And I'm going to show you a calculation how, if you know an index, you can figure out, if you know a beginning index and an ending index, you can figure out what the ending actual dollar value is based upon a salary by seeing how this changed and changing this by the same amount. So that's really the first question. But the first thing is, how do we get that data? How do we figure out what the actual index is for a particular year? Well, there's a link here. Did I open it yet? I don't think I did. Okay. So on your document, there's this link right here. Okay. So what you'll see is it starts off by being 2015 to 2025. I'm going to just tell you right off the bat, let's just make it 2000. Okay. Let's make it 2000. I do want to show you. Yeah, let's just make it 2000. But I want to let you know, and I'll show you in a moment here. And I'm going to hit go. So make sure you do that. What I'm going to show you, though, is if you look at this, the base period is 1982 to 84. So what they're saying is the cost of goods would be based upon an index of 100 way back in 1982. But all we see is 2000 to 224. So that's already like, it looks like about 150. It's about 200 here. Okay. Now what you're going to get, next thing, you'll see a big table, but that's not easy to work with. So we're going to need to download a spreadsheet. So click on this, click on that, and you'll see the years, and this is the CPI, and it's in February, or at the beginning of the year. They don't do it in January, they do it in February. So what do we need to figure out? We need the index for 2005. So I'm going to just have you guys do February. Come on now. There it is. Where'd it go? I'm going to have you guys do February for all these. Forget about all April through that, okay? So 2005, let's see, scroll down here, and I get 197.6, okay? So that means that the correct answer would be B, 197.6, okay? Okay, so now we're going to use that consumer price index. So please read this question here. And what it's wanting us to do is saying that if in 2010, the basket of goods somebody spent monthly for everything, services, everything, is 2,500, what would the cost of the exact same basket of goods, the same things, be in 2025? Well, what we want to do is we want to go back to, what is the consumer price index in 2010, right? What is it? Well, let's check it out. Let's go back to that document we downloaded. 2010 would be 226. I'm just going to round it, okay? 226. And then, let's see, in 2025, it's 358. 358. Is that what it is, 358? Yes, okay. Okay, so what that means is, again, I need to figure out what the monthly is for somebody with 2,500. So I need to figure out how this changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 358 and I'm going to divide it by 226. Or I could say divided by, right? And so if you do that on your calculator, you should get 1.58. You then take that 1.58 and you need to factor up what you had in 2,500, which would be, if you do that, it would be equal to, and you can do that on your calculator. Let's see. This would be equal to 3960. So that would be the closest one right there. Okay. So that's how you do this kind of problem here. The index at 2025 right here divided by the index at 2026 multiplied by the big $2,500 index at 2010. Then you need to apply it to the actual dollar amount and multiply it out. Okay. So the next thing is, which of the following functions best models the inflation rate from 2010 until 2025? So now we need to go get the data and model it using Desmos. So please go ahead and enter Desmos, or open up a file of Desmos and put in the exponential function, because we're going to use exponential models, okay? As you can see, these are all in the form y equals a times b to the power of x. You should remember this is in beginning value, this is the growth factor or decay factor. So let me open Desmos and put in that equation. Okay, so go to desmos.com, click open graphing calculator, and now I'm going to put in the regression equation for an exponential model. So that's going to be y1, do the squiggly line, right? That should be on your keyboard. That is right next to the 1 to the left of it. So that would be shift squiggly line. It's going to be a times b to the power of, the power is above the 6, shift 6, x1, okay? So that's the equation right there. Now I don't have the data in, so now I'm going to go get the data and I'll explain that. So I'm going to go back to that one document right here that has the data. Now we want to get it from when to when. Let's see. We want to get it from, no, let's see right here. We want to get it from 2010, in this case, until 2025, okay? So that's what we want to get. Now what we're going to do, and this is the important part, please make sure you understand this. We're going to make the independent variable not years like 2010 or 2011. We're going to make it the years since 2020, okay? Since. So like, for example, 2010 would be 10. So if we go back over here, you're going to need to make an adjustment. You go to this model, or you go to the data over here, it's got the years 2000. So that would be 0. And then this one over here would be 1, right? So either you can type them all in or you can go this cell right here equals. I can hit the equals and I can click on this cell plus 1, and that's 2. So 2002 is 2. And then I'm going to control copy, and I'm going to hold my shift key down to the end, and I get that. So that's a quick way to do it. Convert. Instead of the calendar year, you can do the years right there. So now I'm going to do something we've done before. I'm going to copy the data. And what did we need again? Okay, we want from 2010 until 2025. It's important we do those years because if we do earlier or later years, it'll change. The data will change it. Okay, so again, I'm going to get 2010, not 2000. So I'm going to go down, scroll down to 2010. And I'm going to put my cursor there. I hold down the shift key, my arrow key over, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I copy those, just those years, control copy, okay? So I've got them copied, but now I need to go to Desmos, and let me go ahead and exit out on this. So I had one in there before, okay. So now I'm going to go click on an empty thing and put Control V, and I got my data right there. But I don't see the regression. Why? Because I need to make sure that these numbers here in the table match the numbers. I've got these numbers as 1s. Okay, so I need to update my table so that there is a 1 that matches it. That tells this to get data from the table 1, which it's doing. So check it out. I got the model. Step number 1, what is the equation for the variable? Well, I can use this information here, right? Okay, so I've made it a little bit highlighted, but remember the A here is the A there, the B here is that. So my equation would be Y equals 150, I'm going to round it to 154, there's 3 digits, so that's fine, times B, which would be here, I probably need 1.0, I'm going to make it round to 3, this one to 3 since that's an 8, to the power of X. So that's your equation.